Rock and roll in the 1970s was loud, dangerous, and dripping with money. Gold records, sold out stadiums, private jets, and behind all of it, people quietly helping themselves. Mick Jagger had seen it all: fame, chaos, excess. But one thing stuck with him more than the drugs or the headlines. Someone was stealing. Not a guitar, not a song. Millions of dollars. And for years, nobody noticed. This is the story of how Mick Jagger finally exposed the biggest thief of the 1970s rock era, a man who nearly destroyed the Rolling Stones from the inside. The illusion of endless money. By the early 1970s, the Rolling Stones were untouchable. Albums sold in the tens of millions. Tours broke records. They were branded as the world's greatest rock and roll band. From the outside, it looked like infinite wealth. But inside the Stones camp, something felt wrong. Despite massive success, the band was constantly broke. Mick Jagger noticed it first. The numbers didn't add up. Royalties vanished. Tour profits evaporated. Tax bills appeared out of nowhere. For a band earning more than almost anyone else on Earth, they were somehow always in trouble. At first, they blamed the chaos of rock and roll. Too many parties, too many lawyers, too much living fast, but the truth was far darker. Enter Alan Klein. The man at the center of it all was Alan Klein. In the late 1960s, Klein positioned himself as a savior of artists. He promised higher royalties, better contracts, protection from greedy record labels. He had already worked with the Beatles, and when the Rolling Stones met him, he spoke their language. He told them what they wanted to hear. You're being robbed. I can fix this. I'll make you rich. The Stones trusted him. That would prove to be one of the most expensive mistakes of their lives. The deal that sealed their fate. Klein negotiated deals that looked brilliant on paper. Short-term cash, control over negotiations, big advances, but buried inside those contracts was a poison pill: ownership. Alan Klein quietly secured control over the Rolling Stones' 1960s catalog through ABKCO Records. That meant songs like Paint It Black, Gimme Shelter, Sympathy for the Devil were no longer fully theirs. The band didn't fully understand what they'd signed. Mick Jagger later admitted they were young, distracted, and focused on music, not paperwork. By the time they realized what had happened, it was too late. Mick Jagger starts asking questions. By the mid-1970s, Mick Jagger was done being clueless. Unlike the reckless frontman image, Mick was sharp, business-minded, paying attention. He started digging. He asked where the money was going, why profits didn't match sales, why Klein always seemed to win. The answers never came. That's when Mick realized something chilling. The biggest thief wasn't an outsider. He was already inside the house. The breaking point things exploded when Klein was convicted of tax evasion in the United States. Suddenly, the man who claimed to protect artists was exposed as someone who played fast and loose with the law. For Mick Jagger, that was confirmation. This wasn't mismanagement. This wasn't confusion. This was theft. The Stones cut ties with Klein in 1971, but the damage was permanent. They lost control of their most iconic work. Decades of royalties vanished. Legal battles dragged on for years. And Klein, he kept the catalog. Mick Jagger speaks out. Mick Jagger didn't scream. He didn't rant. He did something colder. He told the truth. In interviews, Jagger made it clear that Alan Klein had taken advantage of young bands who didn't understand business. He called the contracts disastrous. He admitted the band had been naive, and he made sure future artists heard the warning. It wasn't revenge, it was education. The ripple effect across rock music. What happened to the Rolling Stones became a lesson written in blood for the entire music industry. Artists started demanding control. Ownership became a battle cry. Contracts were examined line by line. Mick Jagger changed how musicians approached business forever. From that moment on, he wasn't just a singer, he was a survivor. The irony that still hurts. Here's the cruel twist. Some of the Rolling Stones' most famous songs still earn money for someone else. Songs that defined rebellion, freedom, and independence, owned by a man who played the system better than the artists he claimed to serve. Mick Jagger never got them back, but he made sure the truth was known. The real theft of the 1970s. The biggest thief of the 1970s wasn't stealing guitars backstage. He wasn't copying riffs. He wasn't even on stage. He was wearing a suit, signing contracts, smiling while artists lost their legacy. And Mick Jagger saw it clearly, eventually. Rock and roll was never just about music. It was about control, freedom, and who owns the story. Mick Jagger paid the price so others wouldn't have to. And that's why this story still matters. Because the most dangerous theft isn't loud, it's legal. If this story hit you, subscribe to Legends Uncovered and tell us in the comments,